Julie Coleman.
Yes, I did.
She's very good.
I didn't make the connection at first, but I've met her before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Julie.
Yeah.
It was, but you know, I think I was talking to her in a different context, so I didn't quite remember or connect. She's Sandman's administrative assistant, right?
Oh, yeah,
So
she
kind of runs the show.
keeps
Is
the
it
place
Wyatt?
running legitimately.
Is that why?
Well, she's a very bright
I
lady.
think so.
She's
Yeah.
Sam's lady.
Yeah.
Sandman's lucky to have her.
Sam's lady.
Sand lady. I call her Jules McCool.
She said she's over in, they're now fully at Brickyard Road.
Yeah, they're just across the street, so they just register my complaints in person a lot of times.
My daughter did not get your uncle's house.
Oh, no?
What'd you do,
Put it
Jeff?
in
Raise
there,
that up?
And then the
I
guy.
had to, it was interfering with
called
the
back.
camera.
We have another,
We got it.
believe it.
I'm
Two bids,
sorry,
the same
but-
thing.
Yeah. Go like that.
So, you're like, look at, ours expires in 3 hours or whatever it was. That's a, so he called
You want me to
back.
go
He
back
says,
down?
Listen, we don't know if they're gonna get there.
Yes, you know what?
They're stuffed in on time. So if you just waive the contingency or waive the, inspection fee. No,
Oh.
so the guy called back again, you know,
All right.
it's yours, we don't have to wait.
Yeah,
for it.
thank you.
Waive that fee, and she goes, we're done.
Waive the inspection is what they want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted,
Yeah.
they
Well,
wanted
that's
the inspection,
That's a red flag right there.
so, I don't know. They kinda got the feeling that they didn't wanna sell it. Like, let's put it up there.
Well, knowing that into the world.
Cause they originally says, yeah, just tell me what you want, I'll get a plaque, just put it on a tree.
I forgot to ask, saw my cousins, I lost another uncle, last week. One of the brothers, my father had, 5 brothers and 2 sisters. And they're down,
Three of them in what, couple, about a year,
yeah, the last,
year and a half?
yeah, there's, Ronnie and Ray. Ray still, but Peanut, he was the young one. He was just about 80 years old. He lived down near Hall. Hardworking man. No education. Couldn't even, to this day, couldn't read or write. But, and he worked as a tree surgeon for most of his life, and that's how he died. He was across the street. He's pulling some timbers off his property. He was selling off some stuff because he was gonna move south with my cousin and finally retired. And he had a little skid steer and something happened. He had stuck the loader up in the air and it tipped over right on him.
Oh, my
Killed him
goodness.
instantly.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, big shock to the family all last
So it was
week.
an accidental death, it wasn't?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many loaders roll over on people like that.
He's a funny guy. He's most, noted for, shooting himself in the leg. He was putting away his pistol after he'd cleaned it in his shoulder harness, and it was a 40-foot mag. And it accidentally went off and shot himself in the leg. And so he didn't have foam. So he gets in his standard shift pickup truck. So I'm not sure how he did that.
How did he do that?
But he drives about a mile and a half down to the Hall Fire Hall,
Yeah, ambulance.
Hamlet Hall, the fire hall there, and nobody was there, so he pulls the emergency box and waits, and then, he ended up having to be airlifted
Oh, my
up, and it
goodness.
was,
Wow,
serious.
which was that, Bill?
I don't know.
I've seen a lot of those, but
Oh.
that's,
Yeah. I
ever hear one of
Parkowski
those
wasn't hitting me up for
I think I
that.
would say, no, just let me go.
I hardly see any helicopters there. I go by. Has he moved them off to some other spot, or I'm just missing them?
What, Mercy Flight?
Yeah.
They keep them all indoors, warm,
No, okay, that
in
makes
the
sense,
wintertime. Supposed to get some new ones, I understand.
He did start on another operation though at, the old Griffith Air Base.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, if you had come a half an hour early, you would have had great entertainment.
Karaoke.
Oh, yeah?
We heard it.
You ever do karaoke?
Stories.
Oh, really? No,
You don't do karaoke?
no.
Oh.
Well, Andy
Lame-o.
does.
Lame-o over here.
Really?
Karaoke.
I don't think Bob is telling the truth.
He did answer pretty quickly.
Yep.
Nope.
I
That was
think
without denial.
I can picture him singing that famous country western song. I got spurs that jingle when they jangle. Remember that one?
No,
Never heard that.
you say no.
I've heard it, I got spurs that jingle, jangle, jingle, but I'm not sure what you were saying.
Yeah, mushrooms, muffins, whatever.
Andy is on a roll, he really is.
Give me his mushroom top, what?
What?
I know it's a crazy golf tournament.
Oh.
You just missed it all, didn't you, Mitch? You have no idea what's going on.
I was playing with puppies at the
Cheerio.
airport. Cheerio.
Favorite Andy one was when we were playing golf with Dave Ray. He looked at me, and goes, I wish Dave would just get his own ball. He kept taking Andy's ball.
Dave did?
Yeah.
I loved those. Every year we'd get to.
Yeah. I see his son occasionally and his daughter-in-law and their kids.
What time are we gonna end this?
Yeah. 5:30, guys. No debate, read it.
Yeah, really, he just wants to debate. Hoping to be out of here quarter after. It'll be tight, but I think we can do it.
Have you taken a good look at this task order for the apron rehabilitation?
As long as we don't have to have Bob talk to us about it, we can get out of here.
I've read it.
I have some serious reservations.
Everybody else attending by Zoom, I can imagine. Good. Hey, it's Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Okay.
Good, Ed, how you doing? This is a singing meeting. All the motions, everything's gotta be done in a singing, yeah.
But I'm not sharing it.
Only Tuesday. No, it's nice. Yeah. I use the flowers every other day. Prince Camping.
You're always going out.
Anyway, yeah. Made it, put it in an old container, it's in my refrigerator.
We had it
I
figured
feel
out.
all were.
I
Tough
had
to
no
pass.
doubt.
Do you think you can do a land survey in the snow? With snow and probably not possible.
I don't think it's much more difficult.
Yeah. Sure, anything's possible, but
Why would it be?
usually there's some sort of markers that they try to,
Aren't there monuments or something?
yeah,
You gotta-
depends on obviously where it is and what you're doing, but
Oh, it's our tech farm. The bank wants a different kind of survey.
I just assumed they had, those are metal stakes. Just assumed they had like a metal detector to find them, 'cause, you know.
I guess that might be one way to do it.
Could be.
Snow shovels.
Yeah, or we get a thaw. It's supposed to be in the 50s, so maybe we'll.
That's
all
true.
go away. Dan Marshall was listening, Andy, he'll know all about your trip to one of his South Bristol establishments.
Oh.
I'm listening.
We were talking about Brews and Brats, Dan, during the interlude.
Well, I could walk down there and get a beer and get back before this meeting started. That's how close I am.
Well, then you probably heard them singing the other night then.
You could probably walk down there and back in the time it would take somebody to sing Aqualung.
There's Lou.
Hello.
Hey, Lou.
Hi, Lou.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yep, yes, sir.
Okay.
And Deb, is that you on the iPhone by chance?
Who's on the iPhone?
Whoever's on the iPhone is muted.
It might be me, Mike Murphy, Daily Messenger.
Okay. I don't see anything that says Mike Murphy, so we're gonna go with it's you.
I don't know what it says. I'm not I'm not the best technological person here, so.
There's that.
We do have a quorum.
There it is.
There's Deb.
There's Deb.
Yeah, you got it.
Got 'em.
Hi.
Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute, we can go
Yes, I think.
live.
Thank you.
By the computer. All right, it is now 5 o'clock, so we can go ahead and call the Industrial Development Agency of Ontario County to order. I'll do a quick roll call of board members so we can verify a quorum. Please say aye. Dan Marshall,
Aye.
Deb Brown,
Aye.
Lou Zulik,
Aye.
Amy Molodetz,
Aye.
and Mike Davis is here, and Kelly Medigan and Don Coulton are excused, so we have a quorum and we can go right into business. Sue, go ahead and take care of Pinnacle North Phase 1 for us.
This is the, as you recall, this is the property that has the apartments in it down on the lake shore. And on the first floor, they have about 6,600 square feet of commercial space. And it's part of a PIP that was originally done for this project. But you can't, they want to sell phase 1 now from Deep Rock Capital to Berkeley Capital. And So they are asking for a separate pilot for these groups, rather than having them all wound together as it originally was. As you recall, this property was a polluted property that needed to be cleaned up, and it required special footings to build the buildings there, and that was part of our reason for doing the PIF. And I'll let Michael Indolo from MRB Group talk about the cost-benefit analysis. We hired MRB Group to do this cost-benefit, and Michael, you want to tell us about it? Oh, and I should also mention here that we did have a public hearing this afternoon for this project, and there were no comments about the project.
Great. We're happy to cover the cost-benefit analysis. This board has seen a number of our cost-benefit analyses already, but this situation is a little bit different than a typical deal arrangement because, as Sue mentioned, we have a pre-existing pilot abatement already in place. So what our job is to do is to compare the future with the new pilot as compared to the future with the old pilot. I'm calling the old pilot being the master pilot for this particular project. So on the fiscal side, what we spent quite a bit of time doing was working with Ontario County IDA and the economic development folks and trying to look at the original master pilot as amended and restated and to pull out from there what was specific to just phase one. As you will recall, there was a phase one, a phase 1A, a phase 2, 3, 4, and 5. All of that was one pilot. We were attempting to extract out just phase one. And obviously phase one is the apartments with the ground floor retail. So on the fiscal side, what we were attempting to do was to say, okay, under the old pilot, what are the property tax payments that the affected taxing jurisdictions would receive? And then how would we construct a pilot under the new pilot where those entities would continue to receive those same amounts each and every year for the 19 remaining years of the original pilot? We had to do one important thing, and Sue mentioned it. I just want to cover it in a little bit more detail, which is that PIF debt, pilot increment financing debt, that was issued was being paid back through the pilot payments that were being made. What does that mean? It means that the owner would pay a pilot payment and the IDA would use a portion of that to pay off the PIF debt, and the remaining amounts would be split with the taxing jurisdictions. So we had to go do all that math and figure out what the PIF payment would have been in a future year, what the total payment was from all the phases, and then what was left over for the affected taxing jurisdictions. And so if you'll go to whoever is controlling the screen, if you could go to the next page, I just want to show that table so people can understand what we did here. So if you look at this table, we have $3 columns, right? The middle column is the old pilot payment due from phase one. And that was 300 in the current year, 2022, that's $370,000. From that, we had to subtract out the PIF payment, which is $265,000, $266,000 in 2022. What was left over is the $104,000, $105,000, and that was going out to the taxing jurisdiction. So while the pilot payment was $370,000, the taxing jurisdictions were only getting $104 and change. What we attempted to do was to recreate this table of schedule, the schedule of figures. In that last column estimated pilot revenue to ATJs. That is what we were calling the new pilot schedule. And so I just want to clarify that particular bit. So ultimately, across the 19 years under the old pilot, affected taxing jurisdictions would have gotten a total of $3,168,000. That's our estimation. We are still looking at that same $3,168,000 under the new pilot. So that's the fiscal side of things. On the economic side of things, obviously we know the apartments are already there. We know that the retail space is already there. So if you want to scroll back up to the executive summary, I can just very quickly go through those numbers. We have direct jobs of 35 jobs. What that is a combination of the jobs associated with the residential spaces, that's the maintenance and management personnel, and the folks that are being employed at the retail portions of the project. So in that summary of economic impacts, you have 35. The indirect impacts, that's the multiplier effect as more money goes into the economy, there's follow-on spending. So we're saying that the current project under the old pilot and the new pilot supports about 40 jobs total. And that's wages of roughly $1.5 million. As you can see from the fiscal impacts, it's it's again that $3.1 million under the old pilot and under the new pilot. So if you want to scroll down to the second page, there were just a few other considerations that we did discover and discuss with the IDA. And that was what happens if the new pilot is not adopted. And there turns out that there's several consequences that I just want to uncover here for the IDA. That first bullet point is the fact that this old pilot is a master pilot of all the phases, which are all cross-collateralized under this pilot. If the old pilot is dissolved, the other phases, namely phases 2, 3, and 5, will no longer be tax exempt, and they will generate more in property taxes, being fully taxable, than they would generate under the pilot. So we calculated that amount in 2022. That's the difference between fully taxable property and pilot payments for phases 2, 3, and 5. Just in 2022, that number is $74,000. Obviously, there would be several years of that, and you can see that accumulating over time. So that's one benefit of inducing the project. The new pilot will replace the old pilot will go away. Secondly, under the old pilot, there are arrears in payments at this point that are calculated on a net basis of $310,000. If the new pilot were not to be generated, and if this property went into foreclosure, it would take several years to get through the foreclosure process. Additional payments would be in arrears, and the county only has a very small security interest. The county, when I say the county, the affected taxing jurisdictions via the IDA only have a very small security interest and would most likely recover very little in any eventual foreclosure after a number of years that foreclosure winds its way through. Our best estimate at this point is $600,000. So if the old pilot stays and the new pilot does not come, the arrears are likely to increase and not be recovered into the future. And then finally, there's a bit of an overhang. If you have property in foreclosure The other phases of the project, phases 2, 3, 4, and 5, are going to be tied up for a number of years. There's not going to be an investment there. There's not going to be an incentive to have an investment there. We can't quantify this impact, but there will be an impact, a chilling effect on any future development in the short term and perhaps longer if this were to go into foreclosure. I hope that's clear. This is a very complicated subject. I'm happy to answer questions, and I did the best I could in laying it out in the report.
No, thank you very much, Michael. Does anybody have any questions? Michael?
Well, if we don't have any questions, I'll entertain a motion to do this, to induce this project.
I'll make the motion.
I have a motion from Andy,
I'll second. It's Deb.
seconded by Deb. Any further discussion? All those in favor by way of roll, Deb,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Lou,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
and I myself am an aye. Motion passes. On to phase 1A.
Phase 1A is the same area. It's the smaller building that's built there where the Young Lion Brewing Company is. It's a 14,300 square foot building. And it has production space for Young Lion Brewery plus a tasting room in it right now. And Michael, if you want to run through your cost benefit again?
Sure, I can obviously be much more brief in this particular case since you've already had the explanations. I'll just go over the summary in this case. The retained jobs are the jobs at Young Lion Brewery itself. It's a combination of full-time jobs, part-time jobs, and seasonal jobs. When we average those all out, we estimate roughly 13 and a half full-time equivalent jobs. Again, through the multiplier effect, we have some indirect jobs. This is supply chain businesses and spending that circulates the economy. So we said the economic impact of phase 1A is and will continue to be 16 and a half jobs and $876,000 in wages. With respect to the pilot, we did the same analysis we did for the phase 1 project that you just heard. We estimated all future payments under the old pilot, and we locked in those same payment schedule for the new pilot, and that totals $1.1 million in change in pilot payments to the affected taxing jurisdictions. Many of the same other considerations that I just expounded on apply to this as well, in terms of being able to kind of clear the air on the old arrangements and allow this to move forward. This project, along with the other phases and the other issues related to the arrears and the fact of having the other parcels taxable as opposed to under a pilot. Happy to take questions on this as well.
And I should mention that there was a public hearing held for this project also, and there were no comments made at public hearing.
Anybody have any questions?
I have one. It's Deb. I'm not familiar with the space. Is Young Lion is taking up the whole space, or is there still some empty space that needs to be rented out?
They are taking up the whole space. They have an upstairs there that they rent out for events. And then the brewery, though, takes up most of the building, the production facility.
Okay,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions? Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it, Marshall.
All right, Dan's motion,
I'll second. This is Lou.
Lou seconded. All right, any further discussion? Vote, way of roll. Deb,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Lou,
Aye.
Andy, Aye. And I myself am, an aye. Motion passes. And I will turn it over to Barry, and Barry can explain the fee request to us.
Yes, thank you. We've received a request from Pinnacle North Phase 1 to base the IDA's fee for this transaction on the existing mortgage amount, which is $26,108,559, which would equate to about a $261,000 IDA fee rather than the purchase price. The reason for that is because this was just sort of a continuation of the existing benefits, that the construction cost was really the appropriate number to use instead of the sort of sale price that they're proposing. And so the request is just for the board to consider as to whether that is acceptable, and we will need a sort of motion vote on this to approve the fee request.
Do we know what the other number is?
We do.
It's
37?
37 million.
Yeah.
So we're talking $100,000.
Correct.
Yeah, remember, we did get a fee on this project. Now it's broken up into two separate projects. It's a little different, but we did get a substantial fee at the beginning in 2015.
And also this number, the 26, was coming in closer to what their assessed value is on the property too.
Can everybody hear this discussion?
Yep.
Yes, I heard it. It kind of makes sense to me, as Mike said, we've already gotten a fee, the IDA has already gotten a fee for this project once. So I guess for me, that means something.
So is that a motion to approve the request, Lou?
Yes, it is.
All right. I got a motion.
I'll second. It's Deb.
I have a second from Deb. Any further discussion?
Well, I mean, if we didn't have the authority to make that decision, Barry, certainly you would have said, can't do that.
Correct.
Right? So it's within the authority of the IDA to accept that lower amount of their fee.
Correct. And historically, although not common, the IDA has modified or deviated from its fee schedule on prior transactions. When the hotel transaction sort of stopped and started, we collected a fee at that point, and then a modified fee at the sort of second construction closing, which again was sort of a lower amount than the full 1% again on the higher number. So there is precedent for this sort of transaction. Legally you are allowed, as long as the board agrees, to sort of modify your fee schedule or for a single transaction as well. And while this is a new project for IDA purposes, we are terminating all of the old documents. The PIF transaction is coming down completely, and a new transaction is taking its place. So it's a new project. So your fee schedule would say we're entitled to a fee. Realistically, it's just a continuation of the existing benefits. And so I think some of that consideration is all in play. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll do a vote by way of roll. Deb?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Lou?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
And myself and my motion carried. Bob, we're off to old business. Bob, you got a task order you want to briefly tell us about?
Briefly, yeah. This follows through on our capital improvement plan, incorporates 3 pavement programs or projects that we have including the main apron, sections of that, the taxi lane, and the new apron that would go in front of the terminal. Total cost of that design is $324,000. Because it's over $100,000, we had to go out and get an independent fee estimate. We did that, a separate agency looked at the scope of it and found that McFarland's estimate within the range, actually, we almost nailed it dead on right in the middle. The agency fee, local share of this project, would be $16,200. So the design is planned to be complete this year. Construction would begin in 2024, go through 2025.
All right, any other questions about the task order for the airport?
I have a question, it's Deb. This
Okay.
is, are we done with the new terminal? And if we did the new terminal, would this affect this? Or would this work into that?
Well, it all works in with a new terminal. No, the terminal isn't completed. It hasn't, we're getting ready to rebid that project. It's been in some financing quandary, I guess, looking to, because of the bid came in so high before, but now we've got a roadway project, which is next on the agenda item, that actually help out that, and we've got some federal funding from the infrastructure bill that was passed last year. So we should be looking for details from that on the FAA before we move forward with these projects. But all these projects will occur consecutively, if not concurrently, for the next 2 years there after next year. That answer your question, Deb?
So I just don't want to do something and then in 2 years rip it up because we're doing the new terminal.
No, all these projects are being coordinated together and with the understanding of, all the timing. Actually got a meeting Thursday where we'll discuss some of the timing on these, but the terminal construction does not, even though it's adjacent to these projects, would not interfere with it. So everything gets repaired and replaced and rebuilt and constructed in an order, and nothing has to be redone. No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yes. So, Bob, if I understand, we had to get 3 quotes. You got 3 quotes? No, I did not.
We got 3 quotes for the independent fee estimate, and that was, I think that cost us, what was it, $1,500 to get that estimate, which is also recoverable, 95% recoverable in the grant. So we are contracting with McFarland for the next 4 years and 2 months.
Right.
To be our agency. So the FAA requires that when we have a project that's estimated over $100,000, that we have to have kind of verify the cost, that they're good. And so that's what we do.
I understand.
We put out the criteria, the scope, all the scope goes to other engineering firms, and who pretty much do the same thing McFarland does, and they give an estimate. So
yeah. Okay.
And then if there's a deviation of about 10%, I think it is, then we got to go back and do something with the piece of paper you got in front of you.
Yeah.
So
they provided about a $50,000 range, which was roughly $300,000 to $350,000, and McFarland was rated $325,000.
Got it. No, totally. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Then I'll just entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
A motion from Andy,
Second by Lou.
seconded by Lou. Any further discussion? Hearing none, vote by way of roll. Deb,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Lou,
Aye.
and I myself am an aye. Motion carried. And on to the capital grant from the DOT, Bob.
Yes, this was submitted early last year. Again, according to how we were planning for, this is the roadway that leads to the terminal, new entryway, new pavement, new lighting, new sidewalk, all that stuff leading into the terminal. And this was a state grant. And we just received the award, or was awarded last month, and we just received the offer last week. So the offer is in, the request is in the formal resolution to accept that grant offer. One error in the resolution I'm reading is it was a 11% share, but that's still at the same cost, it was just a calculation error. So at $111,760.
All right, we have a motion to accept that grant.
Move, Dan.
I have a motion from Dan,
Second, Deb.
second from Deb. All right, any discussion? Vote by way of roll. Deb,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Lou,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
I myself am an aye. All right, on to the administrative portion, get right into the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from, January 31.
I have a motion from Andy to approve the minutes.
Second by Lou.
Seconded by Lou. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes have been accepted. Invoices for payment. Mike, run us through.
Must me.
Oh, it's Mike on my thing.
Oh, sorry.
Let him go.
Tractor parts, Grofus Klein running the snow blower. The first one, I don't know what the other one is. That's my flight to Nashville the next month for the symposium. And these are just the bills for the last couple weeks since the last meeting. And everything else seems to be in order. Propane or heat.
Diesel.
Yes, well, that's-
Why do you guys filter so much out there?
All right.
Okay, let me see, we're just getting, there's 3 bills here, just getting caught up. I believe this is the Jim Ed transition. Ed went through the books there and got us caught up. February contract payment for gentleman sitting up right across from me today. And 2 MRBs for the work that was gone through earlier in the meeting. And finally, the invoice for the CBA tool. If you remember that, the old cost benefit program we were using went ceased effective 1/1 of this year, and this is just the follow-up of it. So that's our annual cost.
Okay, any questions on the bills? There are none, I'll entertain a motion that we pay them.
I'll move it, Lou.
Motion from Lou,
Second, Marshall.
second by Andy. All those in favor of paying the bills?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Bills are paid. And one last thing, Sue's gonna explain to us a real estate database proposal.
This is a proposal from Jim Armstrong, who does our BR&E, Business Retention and Expansion Program now. And we do have a database on our website that is run by GRE that is lacking in accurate data. And this is a proposal to have Jim gather reliable data for us and continue to maintain some of that database. It's a very specific database to economic developers in its real estate listings.
Yeah, we often get requests from prospects, developers, and they need accurate information on existing buildings and sites in the county. And it's a very dynamic environment. It changes often.
And we're asking the IDA to pay half of the cost of this, doing this, and the EDC to pay half the cost of this also. So if Jim's total project costs are coming in at $7,000 to $7,500, it would be $3,500 to $3,750 for the IDA.
I guess my only question.
Go ahead.
Is this the best way to do it? Just because of, satellite images and all of that stuff, him driving? That'd be my question.
Same,
But the
He said
dollars
part
are
of his-
cheap, I mean, it's.
part of his proposal is also, like, he would meet with maybe a town clerk to see, because sometimes they know a lot more of what's available and what's not available.
And also the data that is accumulated is stuff that's inside, what's the square foot, or, you know,
What's the
how
ceiling
how
height?
tall are the ceiling heights, how big are the garage
Yeah.
doors? So what's the
Sure.
electrical capacity of the building? So it's a little bit more than just saying, yep, this building's, I can, you know.
Yeah, we have buildings in these office parks that come and go, and, you know, when they're open, and when there's a 20,000 square foot building, we like to have accurate information on it.
The need is without question, yeah.
What are we currently paying, Jim Armstrong?
Sorry, what was that?
For the
What are we
business
currently
retention expansion, contract, that's out of the county.
That's out of the county, and that's actually, through, Fairweather. Yeah, so we pay Fairweather $74,000, I believe it is, for the year. And then there's some mileage costs in there, so that brings it up to 79, I believe.
This is Lou. I have a question. You know, I think that commercial realtors, they're a relatively small group compared to residential, for example. I mean, do we know, are they aware that we could be a clearinghouse for this information, or, because it seems like it would be in their best interest to make sure that we have that information and can distribute it.
Well, you would think,
They don't.
but they often don't, and in this type of work, we want somebody to be contacting them, frankly, and staying on top of it in that way. They don't normally think of coming to the Economic Development House to list their type of information. Some do. I mean, we have had some. But this, again, it's a very dynamic environment. You just drive around the county and you can see situations where you need to investigate and find out. And we don't have the capability to do that and get the correct information on the list.
In hindsight, the need is there, and what you've proposed, the cost is minimal. So I move that we fund half the cost.
I have a motion to fund half the cost.
I'll second. This is Lou.
I have a second from Lou. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'm an aye. Any opposed?
Marshall, oppose.
Marshall is opposed. Let me see, let me do a count. 1, 2, 3. We do have 5 people, so we're good. All right, so motion carried.
Thank you. And I have two quick things.
Yep.
One being, the Ag Appreciation Banquet is back on, and the IDA has tickets for that. If any board members and their spouse would like to go, please let me know. It's on March 18th at Club 86 in Geneva.
And anything else?
And I sent out our annual board survey today. You should have received that, and if you could get that back to me by the end of the month, I'd appreciate it.
All right, does anybody else have anything else? If not, I'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Andy,
Second,
seconded by
Marshall.
Lou. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everybody have and thank you, everybody, for your undivided attention, and have a happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
All right, so the next question is this 104 broken up by?
With,